Hey everybody, good morning. It's quite a nice Tuesday here at 1 foot of books. 1 foot, 30 centimeters or so. My name's Shard. Welcome. This is episode 9. Yeah, it's Tuesday. We just came off the back of a heat wave here in New South Wales in Australia. Yeah, Sunday, literally like 2 days ago, it was 40 degrees up here. Pretty hot. Pretty hot. I spent most of it under the aircon playing video games. Oh, yes. Yeah, it was mind-numbingly hot over the weekend. Heat waves. Last of the summer heat waves. Oh my goodness. Got my coffee. Got my 1 foot of books. Let's go through them, Episode 9. Starting at the top here. It's got no spine cover anymore. This is a 1950 1955 edition of The Conquest of Happiness by Bertrand Russell, one of my favorite philosophers. He did In Praise of Idleness, which is a great book, and History of Western Philosophy, which I'm slowly working through over my lifetime. It's a mammoth book, but he's a really good writer, and History of Western Philosophy is quite accessible. I'd quite recommend it to anyone who's interested in the history of Western philosophy and or a Bertrand Russell fan. This is a Penguin. It's a Signet Key book. It's not only got The Conquest of Happiness, which is from 1930. It also has 2 other books in here, neatly kind of given like a penguin, like kind of weird, like this is the cover. So there's Nightmares of Eminent Persons and Other Short Stories. And there's another one, here it is. Satan in the Suburbs and Other Stories. So there's The Conquest of Happiness, Satan in the Suburbs, and the Eminent Peoples one, Nightmares of Eminent Persons. And it's just, I've never seen a book like this, like literally 3 books in one, but with the covers inside, which is really cool. It does look like it's been, it's holding up, this edition, for being published in 1954. It's still sturdy. It's got a nice hard cardboard cover. The cover is like stuck on, so it's like a sticker, which is weird. But yeah, Bertrand Russell was a really good writer. His books, all about his popular philosophy books, I'd highly recommend. I have read a little bit of Conquest of Happiness here and there over the last decade or so that I've had this book. I got it at Gould's Books when they were closing down. I went there a couple of times and just kind of spent a couple of hours there, and I saw this red cover. I was like, what is that? I gotta have a look. And I pulled it out. I was like, Bertrand Russell, Conquest of Happiness. Yeah, I'll buy that for $1. And I did. Yeah, so cool book, Conquest of Happiness, Bertrand Russell. I'm a big fan. If you are too, let me know. Move over, coffee. Sarah Bartlett, The Tarot Bible. I got into tarot for a little while. Part of me still wants to get back into it, and this is one of the many tarot books that I got. I got this at a shop called New Life Energy, which is no longer at Marrickville anymore. I had some audio books that I got for reviewing purposes for a magazine, and I was like, I'm not going to listen to these again. I'll take them down to that little hippie shop and see if I can swap them for something. And I did. I swapped them for a few books, and this was one of them, The Tarot Bible. It's a good exploration of just like popular ideas around the tarot cards and different interpretations, different types of readings you can do. Very entry level. It's no, Book of Thoth or the other one. God, I can't remember what it's called. One around the Thoth deck, or even Alejandro Jodorowsky's Way of the Tarot, which is massive and in-depth exploration of the tarot system. It's good entry-level thing. If you want to, kind of got to ease into tarot. It can be pretty heavy. and it can lead you down lots of paths. And you know, it's best to start off with little books like this, kind of, you know, ease you into the ideas, and then you get into the deeper ones. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like tarot. I want to get back into it at some stage. Yeah, fun. What tarot decks do you have? Let me know. I've got the Toth deck. I've got a Marseille deck. And I think that's it. Yeah. J.G. Fraser, The Golden Bow. This is a paperback edition of this from 1974. It's got a great cover. I've never read it. It's been on my bookshelf for, God, it's got to be 20 years now. The Golden Bow is like one of the definitive texts around history of religion and spiritualism, and well, maybe spiritualism, ritual and humanity. Goes way back, way back. So it covers like sympathetic magic, magic and religion, tree worship in France, sacrifice of the king's son, homeopathic magic of a flesh diet. That sounds like a Carcass song. Killing the God in Mexico. That's another great metal song title. Yeah, never read it. A Study of Magic and Religion. Never read it. Sorry, Mr. Fraser. I'll get there sometime. Been on my bookshelf for decades. I can't even remember where I got this from. Where did I get this from? The Golden Bow. I see I've had it so long, I don't even remember where I got it from. Good Lord. Richard Brautigan, Revenge of the Lawn, stories 1962 to 1970. Richard Brautigan was famous for a short story called Trout Fishing in America, which is a good short story. I don't think I have not, no, I haven't read any of these stories. I got Trout Fishing in America at some stage, and I was like, hey, that's cool. I'll keep an eye out for this guy's books. And one time I was at the Salvos in Marrickville in Sydney, and there was a bunch of Richard Brautigan stuff. So this was one of them. And I got like four books of his, but I still haven't read them. Which is a shame, because they're only like 1 page, 2 pages each, some of them. Let's read one, shall we? Pacific Radio Fire. Yeah, why not? It's only a page and a half. Stay with me. The largest ocean in the world starts or ends at Monterey, California. It depends on what language you are speaking. My friend's wife had just left him. She walked right out the door and didn't even say goodbye. We went and got 2/5 of port and headed for the Pacific. It's an old song that's been played on all the jukeboxes in America. The song has been around so long that it's been recorded on the very dust of America and has settled on everything and changed chairs and cars and toys and lamps and windows into billions of phonographs to play that song back into the ear of our broken heart. We sat down on a small corner-like bench surrounded by big granite rocks and the hugeness of the Pacific Ocean with all its vocabularies. We were listening to rock and roll on his transistor radio and somberly drinking port. We were both in despair. I didn't know what he was going to do with the rest of his life either. I took another sip of port. The Beach Boys were singing a song about California girls on the radio. They liked them. His eyes were wet, wounded rugs. Like some kind of strange vacuum cleaner, I tried to console him. I recited the same old litanies that you say to people when you try to help their broken hearts, but words can't help it all. It's just the sound of another human voice that makes the only difference. There's nothing you're ever going to say that's going to make anybody happy when they're feeling shitty about losing somebody that they love. Finally, he set fire to the radio. He piled some paper around it. He struck a match to the paper. We sat there watching it. I had never seen anybody set fire to a radio before. As the radio gently burned away, the flames began to affect the songs we were listening to. A record that was number 1 on the top 40 dropped, suddenly to number 13 inside of itself. A song that was number 9 became number 27 in the middle of a chorus about loving somebody. They tumbled in popularity like broken birds. Then it was too late for all of them. Richard Brautigan. Karl Popper, The Open Society and Its Enemies, Volume 1, Plato. I have read a little bit of this, hence my evidence is a bookmark at page 57. Yeah, a bit of a heavy writer, Popper. One of the big philosophers of the 20th century. I've got this one, and there's Volume 2. I think it's Socrates. I can't remember what this book kind of like was about. It's been a while since I even read it, and yeah, don't know, I can't remember. I got this and part 2 at my friend's bookshop. I was like, yep, I'll have those. Karl Popper, I'll get some of his books. I heard about Karl Popper through Robert Anton Wilson, who was a big fan of Popper. I haven't given this enough time, or part 2, and yeah, I think that's these kind of books. I'm trying to change up my reading habits at the moment, and I want to, I think reading something like this, or reading heavy non-fiction, will be good for that. My recalibration of reading. I'll explain at the end. Yeah. G.K. Chesterton, The Complete Father Brown Stories. Haven't read it. A good friend of mine, a good colleague of mine when I was at community radio, his name's Terry, runs a great show down there on Radio Skid Row, 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Just plays gospel music. It's fantastic. One of the best radio shows I've ever listened to. And Terry is an achingly nice man, and I'll always have time for Terry. And he gave me this book. I haven't read any of them. They've been adapted into TV shows, very popular. So basically, Father Brown is a priest that goes around solving mysteries. Haven't read it though. Haven't read any of them. But yeah, thanks Terry for giving me this book, and I will read it at some point. Got a few Steve Martin books here. The Pleasure of My Company. Haven't read it. Got it from my friend's bookshop, Urchin Books. Haven't read it. Sorry, Steve. Born Standing Up. Have read it. Loved it. I got this at a kind of like an overflow bookshop in Parramatta in around 2008. And this wasn't long out. And I found it and it was like $4. And I was just like, dude, for a haka, that's sweet. A bit short, Steve. I wanted more. I wanted lots more. This is a great autobiography. And Steve Martin's a great writer. And yeah, really liked it. Born Standing Up. Just how we grew up. Working at Disneyland. Becoming like magician. I think he was a magician first. Then he moved into comedy. Hell of a banjo player too. Steve Martin, Shop Girl. Haven't read it either. Good cover though. The Zizek Dictionary. Haven't read this. Just a bunch of his essays. Well, not even a bunch of his essays. Just it's like a dictionary. So basically, what he thinks about stuff. Actually, it is a bunch of essays from different writers. Yeah. Don't know, I haven't read it. I haven't read much of Zizek's stuff. I've watched some of his stuff online and his film documentaries, which are fun. But yeah, I've got a few of these. I got this from my friend's dead uncle's collection. He had a few Zizek books. I was like, I'll give that a read sometime. Still haven't. What can you do? That's life, isn't it? Robert Anton Wilson, Schrodinger's Cat. It's the whole trilogy. It's kind of like a follow-up that runs parallel with the Illuminatus trilogy, which was published a good 5 or 10 years before this. My friend Jack Frost got me this. I did read it. So each book is kind of like a reinterpretation of the book before it, but from different points of view and different interpretations of quantum relativity. Like, yes, I have read this book. I think I read it last year. Interesting, very interesting. I'd like to read it again. I'd like to read Illuminatus again as well. My friend Sanisha's got it. Sanisha, where are you, man? Give me my books back. Gave them to you like 12 years ago. Trying to get hold of this guy, you know. Yeah, good book. If you're a fan of Robert Anton Wilson, a fan of the Illuminatus trilogy, got a bunch of the same characters, and you're kind of in a parallel universe with different interpretations of quantum mechanics going on, and yeah, interesting book. Robert Anton Wilson was a great writer, and I really like his stuff. Yeah, I've got a few bonuses as well. Just stuff that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks. This is a quite battered edition. This is a 1947 edition, British edition of The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. Before you judge me too harshly, I like The Fountainhead. I thought it was a really cool book when I first read it. I've only read it once. I liked it. I liked the movie. The movie was good. Then I read Atlas Shrugged. And yeah. I wouldn't, even after reading The Fountainhead, I wouldn't say I was a fan of Ayn Rand, but I did like the book. I thought it was a great read. I thought the movie was really cool. Take that whatever way you wish. I'm not a fan of her relativism kind of philosophy and stuff like that. She wasn't, a great human as well. She said a lot of stuff and did a lot of stuff that was quite contrary to itself. Fountainhead was a good book. This is I had to glue it a little bit. The spine was coming off. But, this is cool. I'm glad I've got this, really old copy of The Fountainhead. I got it for $3 from the Vinnies up in Springwood. And, yeah, after The Fountainhead, I read Atlas Shrugged, and that kind of changed my view of Ayn Rand. Have you read Atlas Shrugged? It's like this insane sci-fi capitalist fantasy. And I don't know why it's so influential. Yeah, it's not good. It's crazy all over the place. Then they did those 3 movies. You seen those 3 movies? Oh my god. I think I watched 1 or maybe 2 of them because I was just like, I've heard they're really bad. They are so bad. It's so bad. I can't believe Samantha Mathis is in it. She's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Pump Up the Volume. She ended up in one of those Atlas Shrugged movies. And I felt so sad for her. And for myself, she was obviously an Ayn Rand fan or something. But, yeah. Fountainhead, good. I'm glad I got this copy. Atlas Shrugged, no. I had a copy of that. I might still have it. Or I think I might have given it away. So I wasn't going to read it again. This is another interesting little book. Character Reading for Fun and Popularity. It's from Frederick Meyer. And this is a 1945 edition. It's got a little bit of mold on the back, but I think it's still a bit of water damage. But it's interesting. It's all about body language, and it's also got a chapter on phrenology. And I'm keen to dip into this. Judging characters from the stars. Yeah, it's even got some astrology in there. Reading character from heredity and environment. It could be a bit problematic. Analyzing character from the hand. The aforementioned phrenology, which I'm surprised is still in a book from the 1940s. I thought that was announced in the 19th century. Yeah, handwriting, size, shape, stuff like that. Yeah, I just thought that's an interesting book to have in the old collection. Robert A. Heinlein, Orphans of the Sky. I saw this nice little book, and is it a follow-up to Tunnels in the Sky or something? I like that book. That was cool. But yeah, I haven't read this yet. I just got this last week. It's a cool, what edition is it? Panther, science fiction. Love those old 70s covers, man. Yeah. And something I had to kind of treat myself. I got onto Abe Books, and I got a secondhand copy of Werner Vinge's A Fire Upon the Deep, because I was looking at a couple of other YouTube sci-fi channels, and they recommended this book very highly, and I was like, I've never heard of it. And I got a copy, cheap, from Abe Books, and just started reading it. It's good. I like it. I like it a lot. Changing my reading habits. Yeah, just so you know, and if you're looking at changing up your reading habits, I found that I was doing a lot of my reading in bed, and that's not good, because it kind of trains your brain to thinking that, hey, or associating reading with tiredness. And I found that when I was reading during the day, like I'd go and sit down on the balcony on the couch and start reading, I'd just be like, oh, go for a lie down, you know. And I was just like, dude, you're just reading. Like, it's the middle of the day, you know, you slept well. So I was just like, I got to break this habit. So no more reading in bed, or reading to be done outside of bed. Bed for sleeping, everywhere else for reading. Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'll let you know how I go. It's going all right so far. I'm just kind of like, you know, baby steps. Yeah. And this is my book to kind of take me through that. This and Lolita. I'm going to finish Lolita as well. I don't have to finish it. I'm only almost halfway through. It's going well. I like Lolita. I like reading. Okay? And no more reading in bed. All right, that's it for 1 Foot of Books, plus the little bonus thing here. Have a great week, everyone. Like, subscribe, share. I don't care. I don't know. Whatever. I think I got like 30 views on the last episode. I'm just like, wow, 30 people watched this little video I made. That's awesome. I'm glad. I'm so grateful that 30 people out of the 8 billion on Earth watched little old me's video. So, yeah, thanks. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And you know, reach out, say hi. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you. All right, have a good week. See you next week on 1 Foot of Books.